Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk. Now, can you use Paula's Choice BHA with retinol? Well, technically yes, because they do not cancel each other out. However, I still recommend using them in separate routines, and best would be even on different days, so that you can reduce the risk of experiencing irritation. Because you have on one hand your BHA, which may already make the skin drier, plus with Paula's Choice BHA, that one already has a low pH, so it's between 3.2 to 3.8. So it is pretty intense, it's quite acidic, and when applying it to the skin is already a bit more sensitive. And then when using your retinol on top, this can then increase the risk of experiencing irritation even further. So I'm talking about stinging, burning, redness, kind of like a sunburn feeling, or even experiencing a rash in a worst case scenario. And so those are all the points that you're trying to reduce as much as you can, because once you experience them, you have to start all over again. You have to give your skin a complete break to recover, which takes some time, and then you need to go into it again. So to avoid this already in the first place, I want to share with you an example on how you could balance it throughout the week. You will still enjoy the benefits that they offer, and at the same time enjoy the benefits of not irritating your skin. So I want to get started with the evening skincare routines, which you can see right here. First of all, we have one with salicylic acid in the evening, and the other one is where you then would use your retinol. And as always, you can download the entire PowerPoint in the description box down below. So let's get started with the example routine with exfoliants. So you can see right here on the top corner the time of use plus the frequency, so the days on when you would use it throughout the week. We have the benefits of salicylic acid, we have a little example routine. I want to keep the focus towards the most important steps, and then below that you have the overall general guide. So we are starting off with the first step in the evening, which is washing the face. What's important to do is working with a non-exfoliating acid cleanser, because you're already using an exfoliant. So again, you want to reduce the irritation degree as much as you can. Therefore, either use a regular cleanser that's suitable for your skin type, or work with an oil or balm cleanser as well, depending on if you're trying to remove stubborn sunscreen and or makeup or not. Nonetheless, washing your face is important. And then there are two ways on how you now can continue, depending on how sensitive your skin may be already in the first place. If you have quite resistant skin, you just want to take a towel and then pat the skin dry and head into the application of your exfoliant. However, if you experience a bit more like sensitivity, you have already a bit more stinging or burning, then you may enjoy the benefits of just waiting 5 to 10 minutes in between. So basically wait for your skin to dry a bit further and then move on to the application of your exfoliant, because then it's going to slower penetrate into the skin, which can already then reduce those like signs of sensitivities. And then once you have applied it to the skin, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now, usually salicylic acid would be recommended if you have oily skin or even oily acne-prone skin. So in that sense, it's completely fine to just wash your face in the evening and then work with your exfoliant, and there's no need to follow with anything else afterwards. So in that perspective, I do think that it's even best to not use a moisturizer afterwards, because I feel like it would clog the pores even further, because you're trying to get rid of the dead skin cells and then you're going to seal it with your moisturizer. So the only case where I recommend using a moisturizer is if you really experience dryness. I'm not talking about flaky skin, because flaky skin can occur when working with an exfoliant, can occur when working with a retinol. So therefore only use a moisturizer afterwards if you should come across like real dryness. And then you can wait those 30 seconds to a minute in between after you have applied the exfoliant before applying your moisturizer, so that it layers well. And again, you have the overall general guide below. Now let's keep the focus towards the frequency. Paula's Choice BHA liquid exfoliant is quite potent. I'm not going to lie, I have already tried like several salicylic acid exfoliating acid products, and this is one of the strongest ones for me, for my skin. It can be, when I'm using it too often, quite irritating. So therefore my suggestion would be using the exfoliant less often compared to the retinol. Therefore I went with Monday, Wednesday and or Friday. Now, if you're being completely new to this specific exfoliant or even towards salicylic acid in general, my suggestion would be reducing the frequency even further, just in case. You want to get to know the skin, you want to get to know the limits of your skin tolerance, so that you're not going to even experience those severe irritation problems. Therefore, you can go ahead in the beginning, like for 1 to 2 weeks, just use it once per week, like for example on Monday. Then after that, if everything went well, same time with your retinol, you may want to move up to 2 times per week. If that goes well, then you can increase it even and use it 3 times per week. So you can do this in like the 2 weeks rhythm. So once per week for 2 weeks, then moving up to twice per week for 2 weeks, etc. If your skin needs a bit longer, then go ahead, extend that time. But you should get the idea of how you can adjust it. And this way you're making sure that you're not going to end up with severe irritation. Because on the other days, you still have to balance the frequency when working with your retinol. This is something that you shouldn't forget. So it's not only about exfoliant, but you're going to include your retinol throughout the same week, which can be quite irritating for some if you're going to overdo it. And the funny part about retinol is that you do not notice those irritation signs right away, because retinol has a delayed response. So with your exfoliant, if you just would work with the exfoliant, the irritation can become visible pretty much right away, or after 1 to 2 days. But with your retinol, this takes up to 3 to 4 days, or maybe about a week. And so therefore you have to be even more careful with your retinol. And so again, you can see the example routine when it comes to your retinol. You have the evening skincare routine, you have the days below. So in that case, it would be then any other day when not using your BHA. So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and or Sunday. So I went with the 4 days, but again, you can basically match it up to how often you want to work with that one and your exfoliant. So your evening skincare routine in that sense is not going to change much based on the cleansing step. Still work with a non-exfoliating acid cleanser. You can do the steps right here in between, depending on how sensitive your skin is, and use a moisturizer if you really come across dryness. But other than that, what really stands out in this specific case is, first of all, the formulation of your retinol and the strength of your retinol, which does influence the frequency I've mentioned above as well. And for that, I do have a specific frequency below in the overall general guide. Now, with the examples I've picked, I went with the ordinary, which are all in squalane. Then I have CeraVe, which is usually quite gentle. And then we have Paula's Choice retinol treatments, which are quite potent in my opinion. So you have different formulations, and based on that, the skin is going to react differently. With the ordinary retinol in squalane, that one is already in an oil. So it's not only hydrating, but at the same time protective as well. So you may be able to use that one more often compared to the formulation of Paula's Choice retinol treatments. Just to give you an idea that the strength may be the same, or just 0.1% less, but the potency on how your skin is going to respond to it can still have a different outcome. So just because you tolerate the ordinary 0.2 retinol in squalane well does not mean that the same would apply to the 0.3% retinol treatment from Paula's Choice. So that's the main message that I want to get out there. Therefore, I have one frequency guide for low percentage retinols, which you can see on the bottom. In that case, I recommend starting off by using it 2 to 3 times per week. And then as the skin builds up tolerance, you can increase it up to 4 times per week. Then you would go with the frequency I've mentioned above. However, with the 1% retinol treatments, I recommend starting off by using it 1 to 2 times per week, and then increase it as your skin is able to tolerate it. And again, this may take time, so you may not be able to use your retinol right away 4 times per week, specifically not if you have the 1% at home. Therefore, start off slowly, again, adjust the frequency along with your BHA from Paula's Choice. So if you're planning on using Paula's Choice once per week, let's say on Monday, and then use your retinol 2 times per week, well then this can be, for example, Thursday and Saturday. And then this would be the first frequency that you would start off with. And then the more your skin gets used to the exfoliant as well as your retinol, the more you can increase the frequency from of both of them, so that you then can fill it in throughout the entire week. But take your time for it, because again, as soon as you already notice a bit more of a heat feeling, kind of like a sunburn feeling, this is what often can occur, you want to step back, give your skin a break, and then like use it in a few days again. So this is how I like to work with those treatments, because they can be quite potent and irritating on the skin. But nonetheless, this would then also be, again, the evening skincare routine and how you can adjust the frequency depending on the retinol that you may have at home. So now the question is, what are you going to do on the days when not using your retinol or exfoliant? Well, with my basic evening skincare routines, this is then what the routine would look like. Just basically work with your cleanser, and then if needed, follow with a moisturizer afterwards. I mean, you do not need to work with a moisturizer afterwards. This depends on how your skin feels, but then this would be the example routine that you can follow. And it isn't wrong to give your skin a break just if you feel the need. Like if you feel like your skin is like being has too much exposure to your exfoliant, to your retinol, it feels kind of like exhausted, so to say, it's completely fine to give your skin a break and then just work with your cleanser and moisturizer, and then there you go. But when it comes to the morning skincare routine, there's still like some steps that you shouldn't forget, because you're working with a retinol and exfoliant. And this is, first of all, again, washing your face in the morning. This could also be done with water. However, depending on the formulation and moisturizer that you're using, you want to use a cleanser instead, or basically along with water. Then after that, you're going to follow on with your sunscreen, because you want to protect the skin from the damaging UV rays. Not only because this can already be damaging on its own, but because the retinol and exfoliant makes the skin way more sensitive to it. So therefore, sunscreen throughout the day is important. Please do not forget about it if you have sun exposure. Now, I do want to emphasize one little point to this balance between your exfoliant and retinol, and this would be that if over time you can use your exfoliant 3 times per week, you can use your retinol 4 times per week, but you feel like something is missing, you feel like you want to adjust it even further. Of course, it is completely fine that if you feel like you want to use the retinol more often, to reduce the frequency of your exfoliant and then use your retinol instead on that day. But you could also do it the other way around. If you feel like your skin needs more exfoliation but less retinol, well, then increase the frequency of your exfoliant if your skin is able to tolerate it, and reduce the frequency of your retinol. So you can really balance it out accordingly to your needs. But if you're being completely new to those treatments, I recommend starting off slowly so that you won't regret it. And so this is basically the main message that I'm trying to share with you in this specific video and with my example routines. Now, below the example routines, there you will find much more information about like general skincare and the products that I have included in this video. So first of all, more about retinol and retinoids, how they work when using them, if you can use it during pregnancy. Usually it's not recommended, but always talk to your doctor. And then if you need to use a sunscreen with your retinol or retinoids, well, in the evening there's no sunscreen needed. It's only needed throughout the day. So you would use your retinol in the evening and sunscreen in the morning, just as I've demonstrated. And then below that, you have the skincare product description. So basically finding the information on the products that I have emphasized in my example routines. If you're curious about it, there you will find them. And below that, you will have a general skincare guide, which goes over tips that I have mentioned already in my video, as well as so much more. And then below that, you will find a sunscreen information guide going into that specific topic much deeper. And then there you have it. This is basically what you will find in my PowerPoints. So this is what I wanted to share with you. This is what I want to get out there. I do hope that you enjoyed it, that you find it helpful. If you did so, please don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share it. And if you want to support my channel, as I'm an independent YouTuber, and you want to leave a tip, you're more than welcome to do so. You will find a super thanks button below this video, or even check out the description box. There you will find a PayPal link. Now, if you now want to know more about the application, I'm going to leave some of the videos at the end of this video so that you can keep on watching and learn more about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye.